We've come to Tel Aviv to understand how Israel, a country with no car-making industry, has become an auto tech superpower. Take a ride in any car in Israel and you're bound to see one of these. It's called Mobileye, and it's a small aftermarket device that helps warn drivers before they get into an accident. In 2017, chipmaker Intel acquired Mobileye for $15 billion. It was the largest exit of any Israeli startup ever. Since then, the country has continued to attract the attention of some of the world's biggest VCs and tech companies, rivaling even the United States in terms of dollars invested. Venture capitalists are attracted to Israel's auto tech market because it's driven by experienced entrepreneurs with military backgrounds. The same tech that helps drive tanks, guide and intercept missiles, and keep computer systems safe will build the future of self-driving cars. Did you really think Elon Musk was in Israel just to hike to the top of Masada? This is all great news for people like Michael Granoff, a venture capitalist and founder of Maniv Mobility.
In 2015, you guys started the first fund in Israel dedicated just to mobility technology companies.
Yes, I believe it was the first.
Why did you do that?
Waze and Mobileye, which was already at that time a public company, were really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what Israel had to offer this continually disrupting area of mobility, which we actually see as the most interesting area for disruption over the next generation.
Granoff founded Maniv with his own capital and a goal to raise $20 million to fund mobility startups inside Israel. Within a short time, he had raised over $40 million, doubling the size of the initial fund. Since then, Maniv has built a robust portfolio that includes companies like Cognata, a company that creates virtualized 3D worlds for autonomous vehicle development, and Phantom Auto, which is working on technology that could allow self-driving cars to be piloted remotely from almost anywhere.
So first of all, why do you see it as the most important disruption? And second of all, what does Israel bring to the table that other places don't?
Well, in the last generation, last 20, 25 years, really our lives have become digitized in terms of information and communication. But transportation really has stayed fairly static. In fact, not just for the last generation. But Henry Ford came back today, 110 years after the Model T, he would recognize under the hood of most vehicles pretty well. Now we're seeing the value shifting to the software in the vehicle and to sensors and to automotive cybersecurity and all these areas in which Israel actually has a lot of experience and a lot of talent. And what we're finding actually with the companies that we look at is that we're rarely finding first-time entrepreneurs, as you would find in many other areas. What we're finding is people who have been successful with companies in areas that were not necessarily related to mobility, but now suddenly apply themselves in the world of digital transportation.
Maniv recently announced a deal with Alliance Ventures, the $1 billion venture capital fund put together by car manufacturers Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. The deal marks those companies' first investment in the Israeli marketplace.
When you were going through the process of putting this portfolio together, how did that work, and how did you sort of figure out who was the right fit for you guys?
Well, we look at this area of new mobility in 4 quadrants. One is data and communication, one is autonomy, and then there's business model innovation and vehicle architecture. And in those first 2, in data and communication in particular, there's a tremendous amount of very mature technology in Israel. A company like Autonomo, which is today on millions of cars, monetizing the data that is going between those cars and the cloud, which OEMs have been collecting now for several years but haven't been able to do anything with. And we have an over-the-air updates company that's, we think, going to be able to finally catch the rest of the industry up to Tesla in terms of providing firmware updates over the air for vehicles.
And last question, what do you drive?
I don't. I use mobility services. I think most people actually who commute on a regular basis, if they did the math, would either choose to have an electric car or might choose, as I have, not to have a car at all.
Wow, so you just rely on a combination of different apps?
A combination of mass transit, mobility services,
wow,
and bikes.
I think that's actually speaks volumes to what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Michael, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
In our next episode, we'll meet two of the companies at the forefront of Israel's auto tech revolution. Innoviz is a solid-state LiDAR company that just inked a mass-scale production deal with BMW. And Here Mobility has created a platform that offers a seamless end-to-end experience that will help you get wherever you need to go next.